Thank you, Corey. Good evening. We'll call the Hawarden, Iowa City Council to order on Wednesday, July the 24th, 2019 at 5:33 p.m. All present are staff and council and mayor, other than staff member Travis Waterman, who's on vacation. If you wish to address the council and myself and staff this evening, open business from the community at 1C. Otherwise, there are no public hearings at this point this evening. We will start with the standard agenda items, as we usually do. Number 1A is the approval of the July 10th, 2019 council meeting minutes. You have those in your packet.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned by Travis, second by John. All in favor then of the July 10th, 2019 city council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 1B is the approval of the July 24th, 2000 claims for payment. I will start, please, to my left for questions with Rob.
No questions.
Okay, Jen, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. John?
None, thank you.
Travis?
None, thanks.
Tim, questions? Been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. This is for the approval of the claims for payment for July 24th. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That again passes 5-0. Next is open business from the community. Hearing none, then we'll move to the mayor's report for this evening. We've recently had Orange City Sanitation start serving our community with their garbage service. Brad Welligan and his sister Sandy Albers are the owners of this business. Last Monday, July the 15th, Sandy Albers passed away at the age of 50 years. We wish to express our sympathy to Brad's family and to Sandy's family. They'll be in our thoughts and our hearts as they grieve the death of Sandy. This Saturday, July the 27th, all council members and I are invited to attend the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Aaron Michael Lauders. This will begin at 2 p.m. at the St. Mary's Catholic Church Hall with the reception to follow. We wish to congratulate Aaron for this great accomplishment on receiving the Eagle Scout Award. The annual American Legion Corn Feed will be tomorrow evening from 5 to 7 at the City Park. This is a great opportunity to support the local American Legion, also to socialize with others from our community. Also there, then, the farmers market will be set up. Circus is coming to town on August 1st. Need I say more about that? Those are always entertaining, so that should be nice. Probably be a little warmer, it always is on Circus Day. We want to congratulate the West Sioux softball team on a great season, and also congratulate the West Sioux baseball team and Coach Brian Engelman for winning last night to earn a spot in the state tournament. They'll begin the state tournament play next Monday, the 29th. Each team has exhibited great sportsmanship throughout the season and have represented our communities in a wonderful manner. It's been very nice to go to our West Sioux athletic events and see how well coached and well honored those folks are. The improvements downtown continue with the lighting project and then moving into the curbs and the street enhancements. The committee for the downtown facade program continue to meet. Tonight we'll be discussing the city's possibility of assisting with this. It's my hope that many of the downtown businesses will engage in this great program. Last week's Hawarden Public Library block party was a great success. Thanks to the library staff and all of the volunteers for their efforts. And I know Cynthia never watches this, so if you see her, wish her happy birthday. Today's her birthday. Okay. So don't put that in the press, please. And lastly, I know Jen had a great neighborhood type of thing happen to you last week, didn't you?
We did. We had a limb fall down off of one of our trees, and we were gone for the weekend, and we came back. It was all cleaned up, and it was all of our wood was stacked right on our driveway. So we have wonderful neighbors that were able to, that helped out.
That's great stuff in a small town.
Yep.
You bet. We'll move on to staff reports. Jacob, welcome back. You look more clerk smarter again this week than last.
It's the glasses.
Oh, it's the glasses, not the school. Anything to say?
No, it was a great opportunity. I've started
the process of getting my certification through the state of Iowa, which will be really good. It's beneficial for us and me, and it was a great experience, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I have nothing else really to report.
Okay, thank you, and we're in a new budget year, so that's going good. Mike DeBryan, City Administrator, please.
Last week in the downtown, we had a gas leak over by the Eagles. The boring crew hit a 4-inch gas line, and where it elbowed off to go to the Eagles. And so we had quite a leak down there. Crews worked on it for about 4 hours. We shut off part of downtown. Some of the businesses were let out. And so we were able to get the leak stopped. The next day, our crews came in and were able to repair that. So, but we'd like to thank the businesses for their cooperation, as well as the fire, ambulance, and the city employees for all their work on that. Being down there and watching it, you know, there was quite a lot of gas that was pouring out of there. So we're glad that everybody got through that safely. We continue to see progress on Main Street. The boring crews have finished up. The old base, some of the old bases have been removed, and the screw-in anchors have been put in place, and now they're running the wires to them, and next we'll be setting the poles. So I'm hoping by the end of the week we see a couple of the poles up and get a real look what it's going to look like, and so it's kind of exciting. The 9th Street project continues. The boring crews are doing that. Dave's boring. Got the bid on that. It's going to take a couple weeks for their boring to complete, and then our guys will go in behind and hook up new services for the gas lines to the house. And then currently working with a cellular company that wants to put an antenna on our communications tower. They've done the tower study and stuff. We're negotiating on a rental fee. Sent Jim the contract today, so they may be here for the next meeting to make a presentation to council. And then good news we got last week was the housing rehab grant. We did receive the housing rehab grant. It's slated to be able to fix up 6 houses from 13th to 18th Street, Avenue D to Avenue H. We've got 12 pre-applications for that, which they'll go off that list first, and then if they can't get their 6 out of that, then they'll look for new applicants. So, but we're sure that we're going to be able to get at least 6 out of that group. So,
Is that 6 houses like in an area, or is
yeah,
that all over town?
it's in that area from 13th to 18th Street and Avenue H to Avenue D.
That's just the area.
It's in that,
okay.
yeah. So, so that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Jim Pickner, anything?
No, nothing.
All right, catch you while you're alert. Corey Utek, Chief of Police, please.
Nothing to report this week.
Wow, 0 for 2. Larry?
Business visitations continue. We've been following up on those that we had phone calls and emails with. Still trying to meet with them in person. Also going out and visiting some of the businesses for a second time on some discussion points that we had with them on the first meeting. We've got a workforce partnership coming together with some of our businesses, primarily focusing right now on our manufacturers. So a group of the general managers / CEOs will be meeting in a couple of weeks to discuss how we can all work together to find employees. We've also been working with them to get their ads out on Northwest Iowa Development. We've created a Craigslist listing in both Sioux Falls and Sioux City, promoting out jobs in this particular area, and then also doing some stuff on LinkedIn. We've had a couple discussions with a couple of different housing developers. I have been doing some grant researching. That's been a lot of my time over the past couple of weeks, looking for business grants and or community grants that we can focus on to help grow Hawarden. Doing a lot of updates on the website, so I want to thank Travis for that. And then also just got back today from a regional downtown forum over in Cherokee. It was sponsored by IEDA, and that's pretty much it.
Great, thanks. I did notice some of the changes on the website, so that's good information out there. Any questions for staff from council members, or any comments from council members at this point, please? Hearing none, then we'll move on to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3, this would be the second reading of the ordinance 712. This is amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hawarden by amending provisions pertaining to the wastewater utility rates. Again, this is in regards to funding the wastewater treatment facility. The first reading was last meeting. If this passes, the third reading would be next. Do you want any clarifications, or we'll move right into a motion if you need none?
So moved.
Okay, there's been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. I'd call then for a roll call vote, please, for the second reading of ordinance 712.
Olson,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Clunky.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, second reading of ordinance 712 passes. Again, as I mentioned, third reading opportunity for discussion will be at the next meeting on August the 14th. Move to agenda item number 4. This would be the discussion of the City of Hawarden participating in the CDGB Downtown Revitalization Facade Grant. Can't say that fast 3 times, to include matching funds. Mike will have you give us an overview. I know they had a good luncheon meeting attended by quite a number a few weeks ago there.
We did. Through the visioning meeting we had last October, different groups were made up, and we have a downtown visioning committee, and they've been really active and behind some of the changes we've been making. And of course, you know, we're putting quite a bit of money into dressing up downtown. The grant that we're talking about now is for the facades of the businesses. And it, as every grant that you get that's got federal ties, it's, you know, you got to have match and things like that. What this grant will do is the first step, if we have to find out if the city wants to participate and at what level. Generally, for lack of a better words, it goes by, we're going by percentages. And it's a maximum $500,000 grant that can be used in your downtown for store owners to fix up their facades. Generally, your best bet of getting the grant is if you have a 50% match or somewhere in that neighborhood where they put in their money at 50%. It shows that there's local buy-in. Through the people that have been successful with the grant, they've had city partnerships right now where if the city partners, we're asking development to partner, and then the store owner has to put in their own money. And whatever percentage is left over up to that 50% is what we're going to request the store owner to put in. In other cities that have had this done, they're finding that facades cost $60,000 to $65,000 to totally redo. They do tuck pointing windows, foundation work, doors, everything on the front and the top level. If you have a building that faces a side street that's visible, they'll work on that as well. So I put in a lot of information in your packet. We had the gentleman from Des Moines up. 2 of them came up and did that presentation, and that's what they did in their presentation to show how the grants work. I know when they announced our housing rehab grant, they also announced 3 awards to different communities on this grant as well in Iowa. So it's an opportunity for us to partner with our businesses downtown to further what we're already doing in enhancing downtown. So our first step is to find out if the city wants to participate and if development want to participate, so we can put those packages together and then market it to our businesses on what percentage they'll have to pay. As you can tell, $60,000 to $65,000, so it's quite an extensive upgrade to the facades of the building. So I'll answer any questions or.
During that presentation, they talked about we just don't come up with facade ideas, architecturally designed, so there's some people that specifically understand downtowns and facade and maybe historical types of things for the buildings.
Correct. The first step is after we get everybody on board, there'll be pre-applications. Part of the pre-applications is we got to procure a architect who will do a rendering of the front of the building or the facade of the building. If we're successful in the grant, that same architect will then have to do historical things with the building to find out, if there's historical significance or anything like that. So they'll be used throughout the process. That's all part of the, it's all worked into the money that it costs for the facade improvement.
I like the idea of having the city help with, support this. I would be in favor of definitely supporting and help partner with our businesses to help that momentum downtown.
Has there been any indication of anybody business-wise interested?
They did some initial talking. I know Larry's talked to a few, and I think that, we probably got, just without even putting it out there much, 4 to 6 different businesses that would be interested. They want us to get 12 to 16 pre-applications, because then sometimes when they get right down to doing it, people see it's going to cost them more than what they thought or things like that. So we want to be upfront with the businesses and say, this is what we're looking at based on averages.
Yeah, I saw the minimum of 6. Is that kind of the,
Yeah, the very minimum of 6, but they prefer 12 to
yeah,
16. And if we can't get that on Main Street, we do have the ability to widen that as we need to. I think our main focus right now would be Main Street, but if we can't get the target number, we may widen a block on either side.
okay.
Did they not say in their presentation, obviously historically, if you have a great, lack of a better word, buy-in by the business owners, like anything else, if more business owners buy in, of greater enhancement of downtown, therein it helps their wherewithal, their value of their building.
Correct, yeah, I mean, it's going to do nothing but increase the value and the aesthetics of their own building, which, they're invested in. And this is a great way. I mean, if we can get 15 to 20% of the 50% match where they put in 30%, it's a great value for them.
Would this work for new businesses? If it's not an established business yet?
It's based on storefronts.
Just storefront?
Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be owner-occupied
Doesn't have to be-
storefronts, anything like that. So,
So somebody looking could take
Yes.
it, this could help with that.
I think we should do the 20%. That's just anything we can get to help the businesses along, because I know we've got some that are struggling already, and whatever, if we get state 50% and city 20, I mean, that's just 30% left.
sure. And I'm good with those numbers in my memo, I put, 10 to 20%, and I think, we could easily do the 20%. This project wouldn't get off the ground till 2021, so we got another year of budgeting before then, so we'd be able to include that in instead of have to try and figure out how we're going to get it, so.
Other thoughts from council for, Tim has kind of put out the 20% number.
I agree. Sounds good.
Yep, I agree with the 20.
Do we feel like we fit the criteria well?
They did. The people from Des Moines came down and they went through our downtown before they had and they thought it would be a great project here. I looked at, and I can't name them right off, but I looked at some of the 3 towns that did receive it. All are smaller within our size, and a lot of the pictures that they showed us even that day are, smaller communities. Actually, Larry went to the downtown meeting today. Cherokee had been a recipient of it in years past, and so-
Lamar's was also.
Lamar's was also. So they thought it would, fit us very well here.
And we actually toured some of those buildings today, and actually one of them had converted some of the upstairs to Airbnb type accommodations, which could have also doubled for residential. And I've actually got photographs of it. It's a beautiful renovation that they've done on a number of buildings.
And also, for those that are watching, this is, on the website, if they want to go into what we're talking about tonight, they can view that whole presentation from the group. Any other discussion? Do you need any further recommendation or motion in regards to this? Or
Nope, just a consensus of where we wanted to go, so we'll use that number on behalf of the city. Development has talked about going in at 5%, so that's basically going to leave about 25% or so for businesses, which, like I said, it's a great deal for them, and in the end, it's going to be a great deal for our whole downtown.
And with the other enhancements that we're currently doing with lighting and street and curbing, that should
Yes,
help great enhancements there. Any other discussion from council or staff for participating in the revitalization grant? I don't hear any, so I'm going to move then on to agenda item number 5. This is a resolution 2019, a resolution authorizing the change to the contract for construction of the new electric transmission line coming into Hawarden from the substation Highway 10. You want to give an overview on that, Jim?
Yeah, that's the contract that was approved, well, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer. Anyway, that that contract had some language in it that DGR puts in their contracts, and when it requires a $2 million basic auto coverage and then a $2 million balloon. And you can't use the balloon to cover a shortfall in the auto policy. And when they were reviewing it, well, they discovered that they have $1 million of auto, but they have $10 million of umbrella. And so I talked to Todd just to make sure I understood that all right. You know, we would have $10 million of coverage under those circumstances. So rather than make them go rewrite their insurance, we just decided that if the council approves, we'll waive that. So that's about it, unless you have questions.
Is there a motion for resolution 2019-38?
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
Second.
seconded by Travis. Any other questions? Roll call vote then, please, for resolution 2019-38.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
Girth. Glucky.
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, resolution 2019-38 passes. Resolution 2019-39 is agenda item number 6, proposing to dispose of real property and publishing a notice of a public hearing. This is just kind of a MapQuest thing.
Well, it's a do-over.
Do-over, yep.
Yeah. What happened was when we advertised and did everything for Truesdale, I had Outlot 25. I identified instead of Outlot 3 for where the platting of our development area was, and the description there is sufficient enough with the county because there is no Outlot 25 in Hawarden, and we referred to where the recorded plat was. So it was sufficient in the county to transfer the property. The treasurer has transferred it, the auditor has transferred it. But since we're a city, you have to be careful that your publication put the public on notice. This probably did, because we described it as where it was compared to Baumgars and so on. We also gave the parcel number for taxation. But those are the kind of things that if someone ever questions that, or if there's ever a cloud on that title, you would have to go to court to have the court say that it substantially complied. By redoing it, it'll cost publication and recording, and we don't have to worry about that. So it's just the right thing to do.
Okay, so this will set a public hearing for next meeting.
Yes.
Is there a motion for resolution 2019-39?
So moved.
Moved by Rob, Rob. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jen. A roll call vote then, please, for resolution 2019-39.
Glucky. Aye. Olson.
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
Girth.
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Resolution 2019-39 passes 5-0 on a roll call vote. Resolution 2019-40, authorizing the use of the preliminary official statement for the sale of bonds. Give us an overview of the 72 pages there, please.
So this is the official paperwork that they're going to give those that are looking to buy the bonds. It specifies things about our system, about our revenue, what we're looking to get. It's kind of like our sale bill. And so once we pass this, then they do the official one and send it out to the bond salespeople. And that's where they look at it, and it tells them all about our system and everything we want to do, all of our debt, our payback, our income, everything like that, so that they know that we can afford, through our revenue, pay back these bonds. So I've gone through this with Dorsey Whitney, our bond counsel out of Des Moines, and also D.A. Davidson, who's our municipal advisor. And they assure me that everything's in there, that there's no issues on any of their parts, so.
And this will bring in, hopefully next meeting, the interest rates that'll be.
Right.
Available.
Once we pass this, they can finalize it, send it out, and we can lock in an interest rate at the next meeting.
Okay.
So moved.
Been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. This is in regards to Resolution 2019-40 for the use of the preliminary official statement for the sale of the bonds. Amount of $2,545,000. Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-40.
Kurth.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Feldacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-40 passes. Agenda item number 8, first reading of ordinance 713. This is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 113 by repealing the city interdepartmental rate of electricity. Just an overview again, please.
When we were going through budget time, we had the conversation with council about removing the interdepartmental rate. It's an extremely low rate. It's what we charge ourselves for electricity. We proposed to get rid of that rate so that everybody, including the city, is on a level field, so we can actually track our real expenses and our real cost. What this does is this will eliminate that section of the interdepartmental rate. This will only affect things that the city is paying themselves, utilities, except for the golf course. Their electricity will go up, but I would rather help them financially make that up rather than, basically what we're doing is supplementing them now. So I would rather supplement them monetarily wise if they need it rather than through the electric rate. But otherwise, this affects nobody else, none of our residents, none of our businesses. It's just what we are paying, so.
This pretty much cleans up what we talked about at budget time.
Yes, it cleans up the system. It just puts everybody on the same playing field, including the city, so.
Is there a motion for the first reading of ordinance 713?
So moved.
Moved by Jen,
Second.
seconded by Tim. Call for a roll call vote for the first reading of ordinance 713.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Feldacker.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Kurth.
Aye.
This being a new budget time, the staff has been, would request that we would have the second and third readings tonight, since this is just dealing with the city. Is there a motion to have the second reading of this ordinance?
So moved.
And moved by John. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jen. I'd call then for roll call vote then for the second reading of ordinance 713.
Feldacker.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Kurth.
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, the second reading of ordinance 713 passes.
Make a motion to approve the third.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. This is to Make the motion for the third reading of ordinance 713. Call for a roll call vote for that, please.
Olson,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, then the third reading of ordinance 713 passes. Last item on the regular agenda, other than the consent agenda, is the approval of the annual debt write-off, since it's the end of the year fiscally. We have those in your packet. Do you want to give it just an overview on that a little bit? I know ambulance write-offs and things are dictated by Medicare a lot, and
Right. The ambulance funds are Medicare or people who have an inability to pay. And just because we write those off, Medicare, of course, we write it off and it's forgotten about. The private pay, we do continue to try and collect those, but we clean up our books at the end of every fiscal year, and this is basically cleaning up our books. Our utility write-offs were a little bit higher this year than last year, but still lower than 2 years ago. And that was due to one large account of non-pay. And then our telecommunications write-off was a little higher too, and it was due to just one account. Otherwise, they would have been lower than the previous year. So still overall, when we look at how much we bill, and this is what our write-offs are, it's pretty phenomenal. The girls do an awesome job down in the front office and trying to get these collected.
And we want to reiterate that they work wonderfully with our consumers to say, how can we help you get past this and work on this and get these payments completed.
Very, very tough job, but they, they got people that, the people know that they're going to work with them. And so, I mean, we got people calling and staying in contact all the time, so it's great.
And they do that with great compassion, so we appreciate their efforts. Those are difficult discussions. Is there a motion to approve the annual bad debt write-offs?
So moved.
There's been a motion by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor then of the write-offs, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. One consent agenda this evening, Sportsman's Lanes for a liquor license transfer to the Hawarden Community Center on August the 10th. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Travis, seconded by John. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Our next regular stated meeting will be August 14th, 2019, right back here at 5:30 p.m. My thanks to all the council members for all of the work that they do and looking at their packets and coming forward with great knowledge. Thanks to Jim and the other staff members that we have. I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by John. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're going to adjourn. Thanks for your attendance.